We're not just talking about something we oppose, but it becomes an entry point for a conversation about the things that really matter to us. And that's something that I think I really value, because it can get quite tired to talk about bad ideas and how they're bad. But I think there's something valuable about the way in which Enbridge opens a conversation about things we value, about the centrality of the salmon to the communities in the Northwest, about how the rivers that we live on shape our lives and how we rely on them. And I think as we get to those conversations, we can talk about those things that really serve as a base for our identities, headwaters, if you will, for how we understand ourselves. And as we begin to recognize that, then we can begin to develop ideas of what a local sustainability means and what a local sustainable economy looks like. And I think for me, ultimately, that's the most interesting conversation.
The people that live in these areas, they know what's at stake. The people that have been here and visited, they know what's at stake, and it's just not worth the risk.
The message that I'm really trying to impart in these communities in British Columbia is that you don't want to wait for an accident. You want to have a different future. Now is a critical time to use the sort of chaos of this threat from Enbridge and the federal government and turn it into an opportunity to organize your community into how you want to live. What is it that you value? In Cordova, Alaska, we had to do all this after the disaster. We sort of, cut down the trees, put up the parking lot. It was too late. It was too late for us. So we had to do it all in hindsight. It's much better to do it proactively. Do this visioning process. Figure out, what are your shared values? What's your common vision? What do you want your future community to look like in 20 years?
I do believe that the possibility is there, for a disaster. We've not known in Canada. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense from even an economic standpoint. If you're looking at jobs, there's way more opportunity to create jobs than exporting our raw resources. Get creative. To think that China is the only way for Canada to be prosperous is ludicrous. There are enough smart people, industrious people that live in Canada or that are doing business in Canada, to think that we couldn't do something more creative and with more vision is ridiculous. I think it's kind of insulting.
If that's not what they come to, then perhaps what happens is that you have a situation where people in these communities stand up and resist if a bulldozer hits the ground. I think you've probably heard a lot of people say that they're willing to stand up and fight for this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that come to pass if the government decides that they really want to go ahead with this.
People not accepting status quo is good enough, and looking and challenging themselves, putting themselves in situations that aren't comfortable. Maybe they're difficult and you have to struggle, but that's what life is. That's the good part of life, is when you struggle and you have to fight for something and build it. And that's what's so amazing about these areas, is just the courage of people to continue to want to build community, and projects like this don't build communities, they tear them apart, because their ultimate goal is to get people to give up and to just let them do whatever they want. And that's not going to happen up here.
Our way of life, our lives. My life is at risk. I will not let this happen and live on this earth. It will not happen if I continue to live. The pipeline will not be here. If I'm dead, that will mean they tried to force it through here and we tried to stop them with force. So wake up, people. This is not some little thing, and we're not a bunch of Indians up here that nobody knows about or nobody cares about. This is our home. This is our ancestors' land.
We're saying no to it, we're going to stop them, and we're going to protect what is our responsibility to protect.
It's not too late, it's never too late. There's a lot of healthy lands out there, like we were talking about. A lot of the Uni'sot'son's healthy lands are being protected. And this must be protected by any means necessary, of course. But when we look at it, there's peaceful means of doing this.
This is our home. Why would you want to do that to anybody's home?
We don't